Welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. And welcome back. How are you all? Is everything fine in your life? Yes? Good. Well then, let's get down to business, shall we? Yes, let's. Okay. Now, do you all remember what we were talking about last lesson? Yes? Good. Okay. Well, let's just run through things another time to make sure that we're all clear, shall we? Okay, so recently we've been looking at the way we can talk about the future in English. Okay, OJ, great. So we all remember there are three main ways we can talk about the future in English. We can use will, going to, and the present continuous. Now, who remembers when we use will for the future? That's right. We use will to talk about things that we can't control, for example. Do you remember? That's right. Think of my birthday. This year, I will be 47. I'm using will to talk about it because I have no control over the event. I will be 47 if I like it or not. The action of becoming 1 year older every year is something I can't control. Well, I won't be 47 this year if I die, but that's a rather morbid idea. So, when we're talking about things in the future about which we haven't got any control, then we use will. Christmas will be in December this year. The sun will rise tomorrow. Lots of people will die this year. In all of those examples, we have no control. So we use will. Now, we also use will in other situations, don't we? Yes, we also use will when we're talking about spontaneous decisions too. So, let's think of a spontaneous decision. Well, let's think about when you're sitting in a restaurant. When the waiter comes to take your order, what do you say? If you say, "I'll have the fried camembert with rice and cranberry jam, please," then we know that you made the decision now, when the waiter asked you what you'd like to eat. This was a spontaneous decision. Perhaps you saw the fried camembert on the menu and suddenly thought, "Ooh, I haven't had fried camembert for ages." Or perhaps you saw someone over there eating some fried cheese. We don't know how you decided. All we know is that your decision was spontaneous, not planned. You used will, not going to. Now, this brings us nicely to going to, which we use when something is planned. We use going to talk about the future when we planned it. We thought about it in the past. We made a decision about it in the past. And so, when we talk about it, we use going to, not will. So, let's go back to the restaurant, shall we? This time, when the waiter comes to take your order, you tell the waiter, "I'm going to have the fried camembert." Now, this time, we know that this decision is not spontaneous. We don't know when you made the decision. Maybe it was this morning. Maybe it was this afternoon. Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe it was in 1988. We don't know. And to be honest, it's not really important. The important thing is that we recognize that this is not a spontaneous decision. You thought about this in the past. You decided about this in the past. And now you're using going to, which tells us what? Well, what does this tell us? Well, it's simple. This tells us that your decision was planned. That's all. It's not very important, perhaps, but we need to know and recognize the different times we use will and going to. And this is one of them. When you use going to order your food, we know that you are talking about a planned future event, not a spontaneous decision. Now, we also know that we use going to when we're talking about something that we can see is going to happen. We can see the evidence. If we're looking at the sky and we see black clouds, then we know that it's going to rain. If we're driving at 342 kilometers an hour with no brakes, and there's an elephant sitting in the middle of the road 100 meters in front of us, then we know that we're going to crash into the elephant. We can see the evidence. We can see it coming. We can draw a conclusion about what is going to happen. If I know that I need 2 hours to finish my report, and the boss wants the report on her desk in 1 hour, then I know that I'm not going to finish the report in time. When we use going to for these future events, we're making a conclusion about what's going to happen. We can see evidence or proof and we draw a conclusion. We conclude or deduce what is going to happen. So, let's recap, shall we? We know that we basically use will and going to when we want to talk about the future in English. Okay, but we can also use the present continuous to talk about the future, can't we? Yes. We also use the present continuous to talk about future plans. It's very similar to using going to. Now, do you all remember what we have to be careful of when we're talking about plans and arrangements? Yes, that's right. When we're talking about plans and arrangements, we have to remember that we don't use the present simple. We always use the present continuous. We don't say, "What will you do tomorrow evening?" No. We're asking about your plans for tomorrow evening. So we either use going to or we use the present continuous. So, we either ask, "What are you going to do tomorrow evening?" or we ask, "What are you doing tomorrow evening?" So, we can see that the present continuous is a very versatile tense. That's a new word, isn't it? Versatile. What do you think it means? Well, versatile means that something can adapt to do different things. If something is versatile, it has many uses. It can do many things. The present continuous tense is versatile, isn't it? We can use it to communicate different things. When we first met the present continuous, we learned that we use this tense to talk about things that are happening now, at the time of speaking. I'm standing in front of a camera. I'm talking into a microphone. Pethy and Modi are monitoring the picture. Virag is supervising the script. Choba is checking the quality of the sound, and Juji, the brush, is keeping an eye on my shiny forehead. So, with all of those sentences, we're using the present continuous tense to tell you, to communicate what's happening now when we're talking. Okay, that's all fine. Then last week, we learned that the present continuous tense is actually more versatile than we thought. We can use it to talk about what's happening now, but we can also use it to talk about the future, like with future plans, similar to going to. Blimey, huh? Yes, that's right, blimey. So, as we can see, the present continuous is a versatile tense. It doesn't just have one use, it's multifunctional. Now, we can also use the adjective versatile to talk about different things. Computers are very versatile things. We can use them as typewriters, we can create documents with them, for example, but we can also use computers to send and receive email messages, to make phone calls via the internet, to find information on the internet, to play computer games, to experience virtual reality, to watch films, to make films. There are loads and loads of things that we can do with computers. They are very versatile machines. We can also use the adjective with people. When I play football, I can only control the ball with my right foot. This means that I have to play on the right-hand side. But if someone is more versatile, then maybe they can control the football with both feet, which means they can play on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side. Another good example of something which is versatile is a multi-tool. A tool is something we hold in our hand to help us do something. A screwdriver is a tool we use to tighten and loosen screws, for example. A hammer is a tool we use to hammer nails into wood, for example. But a multi-tool has more than one tool. Perhaps you ride a bike, and sometimes you need to tighten something on your bike. Maybe a screw is loose, or maybe an Allen screw is loose. Now, usually, you don't want to carry a bag of tools when you ride your bike. So, you can buy a multi-tool, like this one. There are other types of multi-tool as well. Maybe you have a knife. Okay, you can use the knife to cut things, but if you have a multi-tool like this, you can do more than just cut. With this multi-tool, you can cut things, tighten things, screw things, unscrew things, open bottles, open cans, file things, saw things, and do other things as well. So this multi-tool is more versatile than a knife. Maybe you have a Swiss Army knife. That's a versatile knife. But this multi-tool is more versatile than a Swiss Army knife. Did you hear what I just said? I just made a sentence using a comparative, didn't I? I said, this multi-tool is more versatile than a Swiss Army knife. Okay, now, why did I use the form of more plus adjective? Any ideas? Does anyone remember? Well, I think it's a good idea to refresh your memories. But that'll have to wait until tomorrow, because we're out of time. Crab apples. And Enid's going to be angry with me too. Oh well, there's nothing I can do about it now. Right, I'm off. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have fun. Check out www.m5tv.hu and see me back here tomorrow. See you later. Bye.